let's look at week 22 in the NBA. It's fantasy basketball playoff time, and the guy that's going to win the title is, of course, Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I too would use it on Lindy Waters III. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter as always at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms. So go and double bang. Go and hit the thumb up. Go and ring that notification bell. Subscribe. I think I've said all the things. That's fine. You can go do them at your leisure. We are here to talk about week 22. We are 3 weeks away from the end of the NBA regular season. Hopefully, your fantasy season is done. And if it is, and you're still watching this, what an absolute double-banging legend you are. We're going to run all the way through. Don't worry. We run all the way through the regular season. We run all the way through the off-season. There'll be a couple of days where there aren't shows, and that's about it. So if you want humor, maybe, some people find it funny, dick jokes, basketball analysis, and a bunch of just information and fantasy research, which I'm not sure many people do, apart from me in the fantasy basketball space. We do that all through the off-season, which helps get you primed and prepped for next season. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, what we're talking about here, as I said, is week 22, and from here on out, things stink. We've had a great 3-week run, probably the best 3-week run in terms of scheduling in NBA history, to be honest. Not a single day with more than 9 games for the last 3 weeks. And that ends right now, and things get disgusting. Wait till we get to week 24, when there are, I think, 2 15-game days and 2 0-game days. What a rancid, rotten schedule. I don't talk much roto on this channel, and it's because it's like 5% of all fantasy leagues, right? So it is a small proportion. What I am going to do, we've got one roto league in Locked On Fantasy Basketball Bowl this season. We've got one. I think I'm going to expand it next season and have a lot more roto leagues. Who takes up on the offer, I don't know. But I think we're going to do a lot more of them. Beside the point, if you are in a roto league, this is pointedly towards you. If you're in a roto league, be cautious. We have, I'm recording this on Saturday before Saturday's games. Let's just assume Saturday's games are done. You'll have Sunday's games and 3 more weeks of games, which theoretically is 22 days of NBA action. There aren't 22 NBA game days left. There are multiple 0-game days. Like I said, there are 2 0-game days left. So have a look. Have a look at your games played, where you are in terms of maxing out those roster slots. Because you don't have 22 left. You've got 20 game days left. So if you are, sitting at your maximum's 82 and you're sitting at 62 in one roster slot, you need to play somebody every single day. You don't have a 2-day leeway to hit that max. Be aware of it. You got to hit that max. You got to hit that max in Roto. Okay. So let's look at the week. I've already prefaced it. You already know, but we'll just give it the details now because it stinks. We've got 11 games on Monday. We've got 4 on Tuesday, 12 on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday, 12 on Friday, 3 on Saturday, and 10 on Sunday. Now, I guess an argument could be made that streaming is possible on a 10-game Sunday. It's possible. It's just not likely. So the first thing that I want all of you to go and do is have a look at your individual rosters for next week, because I'm going to be talking about this week. I can't cover everybody. I'm going to be talking about this week as if the only streaming days we have are 4-game Tuesday, 2-game Thursday, 3-game Saturday. You might be in a lucky spot where Monday is possible for you. You might be in a lucky spot where Sunday is possible for you, and then your strategy's got to change because that gives you 5 streaming days or 4 or whatever. But for the vast majority of you, it's going to really be the 3 days. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. But go and check your lineup. Go and check your mix of players, where they sit, what days they're on, because that is going to affect how you attack this entire week. Yes, good. Go pause the show. Go do it. Go look at your rosters. Go see how it all plays out before you consume the rest of this content. If I had waiting music, I'd play it now. But that doesn't really mean anything. You can just pause and come back. All right, you're back. It's good. Good to see you guys here. So how does the week look? We've got 18 teams playing 4 games. We've got, obviously that means we've got 12 teams playing less than 4. And in fact, all of them play 3. There's no more 2-game weeks. We've done with that. There are no more 5-game weeks. We're done with that. In fact, I think we only had one of them all season. That was the Nets in week 19. So we've got 18 teams playing 4. You can see it on the screen. It's Atlanta, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, the Warriors, the Rockets, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Knicks, the Thunder, the Sixers, the Kings, the Spurs, the Jazz, and the Wizards. And I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't matter. 4-game week is fine. It's all well and good if you're in a weekly league. If you're in the small proportion of people who are in a weekly lock league, which, again, probably shouldn't be something that happens in fantasy basketball. If the games played here don't matter that much. I mean, that's not true. It matters in terms of your high-end players. So if you've got DeJounte Murray, I'm just going to looking at the top player on each team there. If you've got Luka this week, it's great. If you've got Jokic, well, it might be good, but he's starting to rest some games as well. If you've got Steph, if you've got Shea, if you've got Maxey, if you've got LeBron, you get to play them 4 times this week. But that's fine. You've already got those players. In terms of, wow, I really need to go and target somebody from the Clippers, Terrence Mann, because he's got 4 games this week. It's not really how it's going to work. Now, the Clippers aren't probably aren't the best example for me to use there. In terms of, they do have 4 games, but actually, no, they are a good example for me to use because they've got 4 games: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, meaning that you stream a Norm Powell, a Terrence Mann. Maybe you're excited by the fact that Russell Westbrook returns. You shouldn't be, but maybe you are. Would you even use him on any games during the week? Probably not. So 4 games is useful to know. If you've got those guys, it's great. I've got Luka, he has 4. I've got Shea, he has 4. That's sick. It doesn't do anything. You can't change anything with the way that fits for your team. The rest of these guys, when you're looking at fringe options, Keldon Johnson or Taylor Hendricks or bloody any of the spuds in Washington, like a sandwich Patrick Baldwin Jr. or old mate Corey Kispert, doesn't even matter with 4 games on. Will you play him at all? You know the answer, not me. 3-game teams. Obviously, it's everyone else that's left. We're talking Boston, Detroit, Indiana, Memphis, Miami, Milwaukee, Minnesota, New Orleans, Orlando, Phoenix, Portland, Toronto. So naturally you go, well, these are bad, aren't they? Except the 2 best teams for this week sit in the 3-game list, and that's Milwaukee and New Orleans. They've got the best schedule. We've talked about it all last week. And we talked about it, I think, even in the All-Star break, how the Pelicans had this ridiculous schedule through all the time of the fantasy playoffs where they basically just played nearly on all of the low-volume days. Out of nowhere, that happened. And, of course, now we lose Brandon Ingram. But at least that does open up some streaming value for some of the Pelicans players. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That is $150 if your bet wins. So bet on all of your favorite NBA teams, your NBA players, with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. Go check out the awards if you want. I think most of those feel like they're relatively decided, but MVP, Rookie of the Year, well, that's done. Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved, that's probably an interesting one. Playoff winners, who's going to make the finals, it's all there over on FanDuel. So go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA, and don't forget to gamble responsibly. Okay, so we've looked at that. Now what we need to look at is the stream zone. What do we mean? What are we looking at? How are we streaming this week? We've got to target the low volume days. We've got to target them. There are 3 of them: Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Like I said, Sunday might be one of those for you. The problem here is that if Sunday does become a low volume day, I'll spoil it now, there's no weekend back-to-back. So you can't actually double up the Saturday-Sunday combination anyway. So it just becomes another day to consider. So we're looking at Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Basically, to win this week in the fantasy playoffs, you need to use more than one streaming spot. If you use one streaming slot against me, I will use more. I will beat you through pure volume. I think it's as simple as that. Injuries obviously come into play, and if your team has just got 10 top 50 guys, it's going to be hard to overcome. But as a general rule, if we're talking about these two teams battling each other, if you don't use more than one streaming slot, you're cooked, realistically. The teams we are targeting, Milwaukee, New Orleans, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Love it. 3 quality games. And some of this stuff we can set up in advance. You're in a bye week in week 21. You're comfortably going to win week 21. Start to set up week 22 because that's how you're going to maximize your games played as much as possible. So what we're looking at, New Orleans and Milwaukee. I'm going to bang this over your head. 3 quality games from each team. The best schedules of the week. Next, it's Atlanta and Boston. They have 2 quality games for the week, and they're Thursday and Saturday. And that's it. Nobody else has more than 1, and 20 teams have 0. Yeah? 20 teams do not play a single streamable day. So we've got Atlanta, Boston going Thursday, Saturday. We can aim for 9 games extra in 3 slots. Yes? Plus 9. So this is what I mean. If you don't utilize streaming and you're not getting anyone going on those low volume days, you are going to be potentially at a 9-game disadvantage. If you don't have anyone from those teams that play on the Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, you're cooked. You need to aim for a plus 9. That is what you can max out at. Obviously, there are 3. I think the reason why I say 3, well, obviously you could use 4 roster slots. You could try and add 4 Pelicans or Bucks into one each of those and get plus 12. But the problem you have with that is that 4th roster slot that you use then does take away from a player who would probably be startable on some of the higher volume days. So then that doesn't just turn into that because you usually have 10 starters and 3 bench. So if you're using 4 roster slots, then that means your 10th player is then being streamed in, but that 10th player would be startable on the high volume days. So you're not actually gaining anything from doing that. Now, you still can do that. You can rotate through that slot to get different players in or whatever day you like. But as a general rule, we can aim for plus 9 in 3 slots using our 3 bench guys and get those extra games in if that's possible. If you've got somebody on your roster who's a fringe player who has 0 quality games, using that roster spot to get somebody in to get the plus 9 across the 3 spots is how you are going to get success and how you are going to win this week, I believe. So you can either do it as, when you use the assumption you've got 3 roster slots you're using. You can do slot 1 and slot 2 or just slot 1 here and get a Pelican or a Buck. Now, the thing about this, which is great as well, is the Pelicans and the Bucks play on Sunday in week 21 as well. So you can try and win your week on Sunday, adding in Malik Beasley, Bobby Portis, maybe Pat Connaughton, Pat Beverly, Jay Crowder. You can look to the guy that played 30 minutes last game for the Pelicans, Jose Alvarado. You can look for 23 minutes of Larry Nance. You can look for 25 minutes of Najee Marshall and get them in on Sunday and then do 3 games during the week. Now, these are not exciting players, and Jose is probably not playing 30 minutes a night if he is. That's honestly, we talk league winners. If Jose Alvarado plays 30 minutes a night because Brandon Ingram's out, that is one of the biggest league winning moves of all time to get him. That is. It just won't. He won't do it. But if he does, that is like a top 70 guy that you just get for free who gets all the quality games. That is a winning move. But I don't think he's going to do it. All right, so you can use 1 to 2 slots on getting those players in. And you can preempt it by adding them in on Sunday for week 21, get them ready for week 22, and you haven't actually used a waiver move all week. Or you can just do it, if you do something different on Sunday and you're targeting a different category to get a better player in, get it, that's fine. Then drop your 0 quality game guy on Monday and get the players in here. What you then can do, check your roster. Do you have anyone that plays for Dallas, Golden State, the Lakers, the Heat, the Thunder, and the Kings? Because they all play on Tuesday. They play Tuesday, the first quality game day. After that, they have 0 quality games. So you can play them on Tuesday. And then you can flip one of those players into either you could use a Pelican or a Buck, but you would probably just use those guys to begin with anyway. But you can flip anyone from Dallas, Golden State, the Lakers, the Heat, the Thunder, or the Kings into a Hawks or Celtics player who then go on Thursday and Saturday. The problem there is that, Jalen Johnson's going to be out. Trae Young's going to be out. Is Okongwu going to play? Do we look at Bruno Fernando? DeAndre Hunter's an excellent option. But, do we try Vic Krejci? I don't know. And in Boston, it's Peyton Pritchard, it's Sam Hauser. It might be Luke Cornett, although he's up in the air. Al Horford's probably going to play both of them because it's not back-to-back. But you can flip them into one of those. So that's one quality game on Tuesday, flipped into 2 Thursday, Saturday. These are ways that you can attack it. But it's all going to be dependent on how your schedule looks every single day so you can plan that out. Again, the week stinks. It's a bad week, bad streaming. Again, I am continuing to lament the way that we focus so heavily in fantasy basketball on the way that it's just all about schedule and streaming. I don't like that as a particular thing that is the be-all and end-all. That is why I've instituted so many changes in my leagues and will push for this to be default. Larger benches, hard games cap, no waiver ad cap. I think it gives the best results, and I'll continue to push it because I don't like the incessant focus on schedule and streaming. But that's what we're talking about. So, what do we look at here? Who has the 3s and 4s? Some of this is useful, some of it is not. But I'll tell you about it anyway. Sunday through Wednesday. Cleveland, Detroit, Golden State, Indiana, Clippers, Lakers, Thunder, Sixers. They play 3 games in 4 nights starting Sunday. But where the 3 games in 4 nights are is important. Because we already talked about the Warriors and the Lakers and the Thunder. They've got the 3 and 4. But one of them is on the Tuesday. And that's a low volume day. Atlanta is the only team that has 3 games in 4 nights, Monday through Thursday. And they also then have that really sexy Saturday game. Golden State and the Lakers, along with the Thunder, have 3 games in 4 nights, Tuesday through to Friday. We've already talked about those 3 teams as having that really nice little Tuesday section. Now, you could be in a situation where you hold those guys, but after they played Tuesday, their next 2 games in that 4-night period are on Wednesday and Friday, which are big days, and you probably don't play your fringe Lou Dorts or your Rui Hachimuras or your Brandon Pajemskis. Wednesday to Saturday, it's the Hawks and the Magic who play 3 games in 4 nights. The only one of those 2 teams there that plays the 2 qualities is Atlanta. So, what's the value in that? It's okay. And then Orlando is just one of those, like I've mentioned all the teams that play Tuesday, Thursday, but there's 2 other teams that get a quality game Saturday. Now, it's hard to hold those guys all the way through to wait for that quality game on Saturday, but it's Orlando and Memphis, where they'll have some interesting guys. Like Memphis is, who knows who's going to play, but you could have LaRavia or Goodwin or Pippen. Pippen looks good, by the way. You could have Gigi. You could have a million guys. Jemison, who knows, for Memphis. For Orlando, you'll have the option. Maybe it's a Mo Wagner. Maybe you do try a Fultz or Wendell Carter or whatever. But it's waiting until Saturday, which is not an ideal way to use that roster slot. We get back to that when we look at the daily streaming for Saturday next week. But they're the teams that have the 3 and 4 there. If we look at 4 and 6s, it's a lot of the same teams. The schedule is it's very weird, obviously, this week. So starting Sunday, Cleveland, Detroit, the Warriors, the Pacers, Clippers, Lakers, Thunder and Sixers have 4 games in 6 nights, Sunday through Friday. The Monday to Saturday, 4 games in 6. It's Atlanta. We talked about them already having one of the better schedules. And then Tuesday through Sunday, well, these 3 teams have good schedules too. Golden State, the Lakers, and the Thunder, 4 games in 6 nights. And they've got that Tuesday quality game. Of course, then they have 3 high-volume games after that, which isn't anywhere near as exciting. But it's there, it happens, and we have to talk about it. Today's episode is also brought to you by PricePicks. PricePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. It's also the easiest and the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. You just pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 individual player stat projections. And then hopefully you get them right. And then you watch those winnings roll in. Because Demons and Goblins are the newest and most exciting way to play at PricePicks. Squares marked with red demons or, in fact, green goblins get you different payouts. You can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. PricePicks is really simple to play. You can go and make your picks, submit your entries in under 60 seconds. I wouldn't recommend that, to be honest, because I think you probably want to have a think about it a little bit more, but you can. That's how easy it is. It's simple to do. Spend more time, pay more attention to it, but you can do it if you want. So go to PricePicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use the code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. That is PricePicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. PricePicks, pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Should we go sidebar? Let's just go sidebar quickly. Do you guys have a fake name that you use? And where do you use it? What's your fake name? What's your best made up name that you would use? My one, I don't think I've ever really used it. Maybe I should start using it. Matt Pomard. That's my fake name. Matt Pomard. You already know my drag name, which is Steph Curvy, but Matt Pomard. That's my fake name. What's yours? Drop it in the comments. Engagement baiting. I don't care. Put a fake name in there. I laugh at it. My other one is Jim Bro, but that one is like, it's harder to like, you need to sort of see it written down. Bro, B-R-O-U-G-H, which if any Australians, especially lived in Queensland or big fans of Family Feud in the 80s, you'd be massive fans of Rob Bruff, who says his name Bruff. I'm pretty sure it's Bro. But anyway, the way that name is spelt. Anyway, that's a Rob Bruff. Rob Bruff. Sidebar. Wow. Things are not good. It's been a long season. 5 games in 8 nights, Sunday to Sunday. Who has got the games? It's the same bloody teams. Cleveland, Golden State, Clippers, Lakers, Thunder, Sixers. 5 games, 8 nights, Sunday to Sunday. What about Monday to Monday? Atlanta, Brooklyn, Charlotte, and Chicago have 5 games in 8 nights, Monday to Monday. But while that was super important when we're talking about week 19, week 20, week 21, in week 22, 23, 24, it's really not as important. We're not making trades to get better players in on our schedule. We are looking at waiver wire streaming, and we want to target the correct days, not just bulk volume. Now, your team might get absolutely dicked over with multiple injuries where you do get openings, giggity, on Monday or Wednesday or Friday or whatever. So go and have a look at your roster and see how that stuff all plays out. Back-to-backs, not that many, because again, we've got the big, small through the week. Big, that's 7 days. So not many back-to-backs. Sunday to Monday, Cleveland, Detroit, Indiana, the Clippers, and the Sixers. Cool. Remember, Monday, a lot of games, not that important. Monday to Tuesday, 2 teams have it. Dallas, Sacramento. All well and good if you've got a De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving. You love that, and you get the Tuesday out of it too. The key ones here is the Sunday, Tuesday. Look at this. And we actually get blessed with some good numbers. Golden State, the Lakers, the Heat, the Bucks, the Pelicans, the Thunder. We're going to heavily underline the Bucks and the Pelicans again because you can use them on Sunday, hold through a big day Monday, and then they play again on Tuesday, which of course then they go Thursday, Saturday as well. This is why we've been harping on about these team schedules. Tuesday, Wednesday, that's again low volume heading into big volume. Golden State, the Lakers, and the Thunder. We get the Tuesday. We don't care that much about the Wednesday. Tuesday, Thursday is a nice pseudo back-to-back around the big 12-game Wednesday. It's Milwaukee and New Orleans, the only 2 teams who do it. Wednesday to Thursday, big into small. It's Atlanta who has that, and we've talked a lot about them having the 3rd best schedule this week. Thursday to Friday, no back-to-back. Thursday to Saturday, Atlanta, Boston, Milwaukee, and the Pelicans. Those names that we've brought up many times. 2 quality game Atlanta, 2 quality game Boston, 3 quality game Milwaukee, 3 quality game New Orleans. Friday to Saturday, it's the Magic, who have the Saturday low volume game, and they have a Friday, Saturday back-to-back leaning into it. But again, Friday is such a high volume day. And then for the 2nd week in a row, we have absolutely no weekend back-to-back. So even if you do have streamability on that Sunday, you cannot take advantage of it by doing a Saturday-Sunday combo. You can just use whatever you want on Sunday if you've got that ability. And if that is the final week of your season, week 22, your playoffs end, then anyone who doesn't play Sunday becomes droppable immediately. There are going to be many teams, I'm going to tell you this exactly right now. There are many teams who do not play on the weekend at all. Detroit, Indiana, Phoenix, and Portland do not play on Saturday or Sunday. So be ready once their game is on Friday and you don't, and you know, it's the end of your season. Cade goes, Ivy goes, Halliburton goes, Siakam goes, Durant, Beal, Booker, they're all gone. Whoever's left in Portland is gone. I don't know if these guys are coming back. Simon's now hurt his knee. I don't know. I don't know if they're coming back or not. In a weekly league, again, really stressed. I don't think these should be things in fantasy basketball, but they are. These are guys that the schedule does matter. So getting the extra games in does matter because you just start them and put them in that slot all week. And you'll notice there is a plethora of Hornets guys. Trey Mann, Vasily Micic, Nick Richards, and Grant Williams. All these guys below 50% rostered because of their terrible schedule last week. They have a pretty bad schedule this week in terms of quality games, 0. But they play 4 games in total. They're all highly available. They're all probably going to start and play minimum 30 minutes, you would guess, across 4 games this week. And that's not easy to find. So add them and start them. Corey Kispert in Washington, where they're going to be shenaniganizing all the way through. Maybe this man can hit a free throw. Maybe he can do anything that's not scoring in threes. I don't know. But I do feel like he's got some pretty strong value with Bilal out. 4 games for the Wiz. And then the other one who's coming off the bench, but I love what he's doing, Trace Jackson-Davis. He actually has great value next week with the Warriors having that Tuesday quality game in a daily situation too. But at the moment, what Jackson-Davis is doing in those limited minutes, I really like him. With 4 games for the week, you can start him, I think, with a relative degree of confidence. A relative degree of confidence. And that brings us to the end of the Week 22 preview show. I will stress again, the number one thing that you go and do, actually, the number one thing you go and do is you go and hit the thumbs up, you go and subscribe, you go and ring the bell. But the number 2 thing you go and do after that is check what your lineup looks like. Where are the holes? Are you available to stream on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, almost definitely not Wednesday or Friday, or Sunday? Do you have that ability? Who is on your team? Do you have any of the Pelicans or Bucks guys? Do you have any of those teams that play on Tuesday? Warriors, Lakers, Thunder. Do you have a Celtic or a Hawk that plays Thursday, Saturday? Do you have a Magic or Grizzlies guys that does play Saturday, but is it worth holding through the start of the week? You've got to go and assess your roster right now, even while you're in the thick of actually trying to get through that Week 21 battle. Or if you've got to buy, you can plan that ahead. So, you guys know what to do. Do the subscribing things. Also, tell me your fake name. Guys, we're done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.